Well, for furloughed employees, the Chancellor has been asked from all sectors, from trade associations, from the opposition, to extend the furlough scheme. And he spent quite some time explaining why he wouldn't use phrases like he didn't want people's skills to fade and it's not good for people to be on furlough. So fine. What we've got instead is the job retention bonus, which frankly is an extension of the furlough scheme through the back door. The job retention bonus is £1,000 per employee for each employee who comes back from furlough and remains continuously employed from the date they come back till the end of January 2021. When they come back, the employee has to be paid at least £520 per month as a minimum, and then the payment of £1,000 per employee will be made to the employer in February 2021. So, as I say, an extension of the furlough scheme through the back door, the employer must pay out a minimum of £1,560 and they'll get back £1,000, but that really is the end of the furlough scheme. It had been much trailed in the press that a stamp duty land tax cut was coming our way. And what we received was more or less what we expected, but with something actually quite unexpected. So we have now, instead of a 0% rate up to £125,000, we now have a zero rate up to £500,000. That will mean that there's quite big savings all round, different depending on what circumstances people are in. A first-time buyer would save £10,000 because they previously would have benefited from the first-time buyer scheme, but a normal person moving house would save about £15,000. What is surprising is that the Chancellor has used this measure not to particularly benefit first-time buyers or people moving home, but this is a measure to help the construction sector, to make sure they can sell as many houses as possible to support the 750,000 jobs of people working in the construction industry sector. So if you're a buy-to-let landlord, you will still benefit from this regime. You will still pay the 3% surcharge, but that's all you will pay up to £500,000 of property. So you, a buy-to-let landlord, would also have a £15,000 saving on buying a property from today until 31st of March 2020. For first-time buyers, it's not great news because the whole property market has now become much more competitive. First-time buyers will be competing with landlords, whereas previously they had a bit of an edge because their stamp duty cost was so much lower than the landlord's cost. Well, the Chancellor spent quite some time going through the problem of actually youth unemployment and where people are out of work for a very long time and their skills become less relevant in the workplace and then find it more difficult to find employment later on. So we've got three main areas where the Chancellor has done something. We've got the Kickstart scheme, we've got traineeships, and we've got extra grants for apprenticeships. The Kickstart scheme is there to create new jobs, which will be at least 6 months long for 16 to 24-year-olds. If you meet the conditions of the scheme, the government are going to pay for the salaries, minimum wage of up to minimum wage for 25 hours per week, plus the associated employer's NI, plus the employer's pension. So that all sounds good on the face of it. Bear in mind, in the small print, your 16 to 24-year-olds must be on universal credit and must also be deemed to be at risk of long-term unemployment. So this is going to narrow the group of people who can qualify, which is a bit of a shame given on the face of it the scheme sounded pretty good. We've got grants for businesses that provide traineeships, so to get people in on work placements. There's a grant of £1,000 for 16 to 24-year-olds who come in for work placements. They can have qualifications up to A-level but not beyond to benefit from this scheme. And then we have more enhanced stuff around apprenticeships. So if a business takes on apprentices, then the businesses will get £2,000 if they're apprentices between the age of 16 and 24. Or £1,500 if the apprentice is 25 years or older. The 25-year-olds, I'm afraid, or 25 and older, are out in the cold a little bit because the younger generation of apprentices will also enjoy the exemption from employers, national insurance, and also some extra grants which have already been announced some time ago. So a bad day to be 25 if you're out of work and looking for an apprenticeship. Well, we knew this was coming because this was much trailed. We've had a cut in VAT from 20% to 5% for cafes, bars, restaurants, providers of accommodation and attractions. This cut in VAT, we've been given a week's warning. I guess that's a week for everybody to get their systems in place and reprice everything. So the VAT cut applies from the 15th of July and runs through to the 12th of January 2021. I guess that means not many people are going to be booking their holidays over the next week, but that is a helpful reduction to help a sector which is really struggling at the moment. We also have the Eat Out to Help Out scheme. I'll only mention this because I don't think it does everything the Chancellor should do with it. This is a 50% discount on food and non-alcoholic drinks up to £10 per head, Monday to Wednesday for the whole month of August. Restaurants can sign up. It's not compulsory. Restaurants and cafes can sign up for this, and then they'll get the up to £10 a head discount they've given back from the government within a few days, so they're not out of pocket. This is limited to eat-in meals only, so many restaurants have been surviving with Uber Eats and Deliveroo, and frankly, eating on your sofa respects social distancing far more than turning up at the restaurant. So the Eat Out to Help Out is only applying to eat-in meals in restaurants. It won't make your Deliveroo or Uber Eats any cheaper, and that's a bit of a shame given overall government policy on social distancing.